when we went into this meeting room, something similar like this room, there was stuff all on the table, trash was still filled up. And she was just like, oh, I apologize. We have a terrible cleaning company. I'm like, I got a cleaning company. Just being, like I said, being very witty, trying to figure it out.
So you actually had a cleaning company at the time?
Never.
Or you? Oh,
No. I mean,
What up, though, Black Friday family? Welcome back to another installment of the Black Fridays podcast. Today, of course, I have another very special guest for you all, but make sure that you go tap in with some of the previous guests and episodes on all major streaming platforms and then also YouTube channel. So make sure that you check out that. Now that we get that out the way, I want to introduce you all to Mr. Mario Kelly. How you doing today, brother?
I'm blessed, my brother.
Absolutely. You just made history. First person to ever do the boss up on the Black Fridays podcast.
That's my introduction on any podcast. I was on Earn Your Leisure doing.
I love it.
He was like, what is that? I'm like, this is a Detroit dance.
I love it. Yeah. And universal. It's becoming universal. So
most definitely.
That's what I love the most about it. So I actually got introduced to you through Earn Your Leisure. So they inspired this platform that I'm doing now. And I've been following a lot of their moves and stuff that they do. And so when you got on there and you talked about the work that you do, it was amazing to be able to see a brother from the city doing that type of work, because a little bit of context for the folks that's watching and listening. I always wonder how these stadiums and things like that get cleaned up and ready for the next event and things like that. And it just so turns out that a black man from Detroit is behind a lot of that. Yeah. So if you don't mind, could you introduce us to what Believe 313 Staffing is, and then how did the business kind of come about?
Yes, Believe 313 Staffing is a staffing agency. And recently we have been cleaning Ford Field, Comerica Park, Little Caesars Arena, Fox Theater, Aretha Franklin Theater. We moved to Houston and we're cleaning NRG. And now I'm just got my first government contract in Boston.
Congrats.
Yeah.
Congrats. All right, so Mario, you have been able to scale and grow Believe 313 Staffing, and then also have several other businesses as well, or that are in the pipeline. But could you intro us into who is Mario, where did he come from, and how did you even land on deciding to do a cleaning business in the first place?
I'm a kid from the east side of Detroit, grew up in the projects. My mother was, I call her the ultimate hustler. She would selling flowers. I feel like my mother would have the first corporate contract. So every time Spain Middle School would graduate, they would pay her to do all the flowers for all of the graduates. She'd have the, bouquets and different things like that. She used to always set up the flowers for the junior proms and different things like that. During the 80s, I was a YBI baby. As they say, she had the bag, in her time. So I grew up around money. Mm-hmm. I've always wanted some money. Mother's Day, Father's Day, whatever holiday it was, she would make flowers up and send us to the gas stations. We'd be on 75 and Max selling flowers to whoever, be at the Farmer Jack's on Warren and 75, sitting up there asking people, can we take your bags to the car? Can we carry your bags to the car? So I've always, had a way for money, let's say that, how to find it of some sort. I've prior to all of this, I started a youth program, a football team called the Hazel Park Gators. And that was just because my son wanted to play football, but I didn't like the coaches that were coaching him, and I felt like I can do it better. So I started a program where we had probably grew it to like 400 kids, and like I said, with the cleaning, why did I want to start a cleaning business? It was just another opportunity to make some money. During COVID, when I was sitting in the bed and me and my friend was watching TV, and I think they was in Wuhan, China, and they were walking up the street blowing something out of this machine. I'm like, what is that? And she like, I don't know. I said, so I started Googling it, and I looked up, it was a fogger, electronic fogger. So that's why I said, let me get this electronic fogger. Maybe I can start fogging out stores and churches and different things like that. I started advertising on Facebook. a church hit me up and said, hey, can you come clean our church? Because that's the only way they're going to get their money is people coming to church. Mm-hmm. So I ended up getting the $27 worth of products. So that's where the $27 come from.
Okay.
Is going to get those products, cleaning that church. Halfway through that job, they recommended me for another job. So halfway through the second job, they recommended me for a third job. So the $27 turned into $4,500 within like 3.5 days, 4 days. So I said, oh, ain't no turning back. I done tried every hustle there is in the world. I done been down to Knoxville. I done drove to Arizona. This is the best hustle ever to be able to turn $27 into $4,500 legally in 3.5 days. So like I said, I dove into the CDC. I got with Angie's List. Any way I can advertise cleaning. When I was on Angie's List, one of the niches that I used was I Googled white cleaning company. That's what I typed in, white cleaning company. And I used all their pictures on Angie's List. So I was getting 5, 6, 7 jobs a day. Some of the jobs I would pull up Wall Lake Western down there off the water, and they'd be like, oh no, we already had it clean.
Yeah.
They didn't know, they thought it was Bob coming. They didn't know it was Mario coming. So whatever I had to do in order to, scale the cleaning business, I tried to, But once I seen how quick I could make some money, during that time, I'm charging anywhere between $600 to $1,000 to clean your house. And then we're getting 3 to 5 jobs a day. I'm like, why not? Why not stick this out and continue to grow it. And then, like I said, the next thing was that following year, nobody wanted to work. So I said, I need to figure out how I can get some money off of people working. Mm-hmm. Started the staffing business. And with the staffing business, it's really the best hustle ever because you can imagine having 100 people work and you're making $6 to $10 an hour off each person. That's a great business.
Called corporate America.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
And so when you got the opportunity to buy the $27 worth of products and then get the contract with the church, where are you in terms of your life? Because I know that in previous conversations you mentioned homelessness and things like that, but when you got $27 worth of products, were you a bit more stable at this point in time, or where were you in terms of mentality and then also time period in terms of life?
I was probably, I want to say I had the house already. So I ended up probably having the house maybe a year. But at that time, I thought it was going to be a purge, during, January 2020. I'm like, it's about to be a purge. Ain't nobody that can go to work. Ain't going to be no money. Mm-hmm. I have to figure something out. You know what I'm saying? I got to figure something out. So I had a foundation for maybe about a year. At that time, let's say I probably had, because my goal was when I first got in the house, I just fixed up one room. I got the bathroom together and I just tarped off the rest of the house. Mm-hmm. At this particular time, I think I had got the other room together, the living room and the dining room, and I just had tarped off the kitchen. I didn't have a kitchen until probably around 2020. Honestly, I'm fast fooding it out. But whatever you got to do to make it happen is really my motto. So at that particular time, I was just trying to figure out what was my next thing without getting hurt because I knew a purge was coming because they didn't have no idea of how people was going to get to work, how the money was going to flow. Luckily they came out with the PPP. Mm-hmm. And that was another thing that motivated me was I had a real business and they kept denying me for PPP and any other loan. So I got frustrated and just like, man, I'm about to just work my butt off and get myself a loan. So that's really where that drive comes. So all 2020, I was working nonstop with no loans, no grants, no nothing. And a funny story is I went to Somerset probably like around October. Had a couple dollars by then. I wanted to buy me some Gucci. And when I got out there, the man told me 2 hours. I'm like, 2 hours? I said, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to hold out for a whole year and see how long the line is then. See who's going to be in this line in a year from now. And I just went on the whole...
Just doing the PPP era?
Yeah, doing the PPP era. Yeah. When everybody out there living their life. I'm out here working.
Yeah.
They looking at me crazy. You know, I had a pair of what is it called? I had some khakis on, an orange shirt, and some Brooks. That was my wardrobe for that whole year. Just going to clean and different things like that. While everybody out here partying and Don Julio it up.
Seafood boys.
Seafood boys. Yeah.
For sure. So I'm going to take a break from the business questions for a second. I want to introduce you to my favorite part of Black Fridays, which is Freestyle Fridays. So I know that you got some artistry in your blood. So if you can give us 18, 16, 8 some bars, whatever you got.
Some bars. I'm not a rapper. I don't know if I got no bars, but some wisdom I can give you is just to believe in yourself, man. Believe in whatever idea you have. I don't know if you can put this together and make it rhyme, but believe in yourself. You know, life is a mind game. You know, you have to trick the mind to be able to get to where you want to go. You have to really already see yourself there. You know, I've seen myself 5 years ago doing podcasts. I seen myself cleaning up Shinola. I used to meditate and sit back and just get out the shower and lay down and just see myself talking to people in the hallway, saying, "Hey," someone coming up to me and saying the toilet is flooded. You know, so you have to really trick the mind in order to get to where you want to go. So I don't know if that's some bars or not, but it's some wisdom. For sure, some bars of wisdom. Yeah. And I got some, Black Friday is usually rapid fire, so I got a few rapid fire questions for you that I want to see if I can get some answers for you. So you grew up being an athlete, played multiple sports. So I want to know who do you feel like is the greatest athlete to come out of the state of Michigan, being born and raised here? Oh man, we got a couple. It depends on what sport. Football, I'm going to always say Blankenship. Joe Blankenship from Murray Wright was a great quarterback, went to Michigan. You know, basketball, I'm going to have to say K2 Davis was one of the best from Northern High School. I don't know about football, but there was a guy named Robert Glenn who ran track from Murray Wright. So I might be a little biased because I went to Murray Wright, but you know, Robert Glenn, Blankenship, and K2 Davis were three of the best athletes I know that come out of the state. Fire.
Now, your book is The $27 Millionaire. I want to know, if I gave you $27 today, what's the first thing you're doing with it?
$27, you gave me $27 today. I think I'm going to start a window cleaning business. Because all I need is just a squeegee, some Dawn, a bucket, and some soap. But a lot of people don't understand that that's a great business to start, because if you drive up Woodward, there's a lot of car dealerships that have big windows. You know, downtown is becoming like a storefront where everybody's having windows. So if you can come up with a plan and say, hey, I'll clean each plaque of glass for $5 in and out, I'm pretty sure you can get a lot of business. So people always ask me, what would I do? What business would I start? And it'll be a window cleaning business.
Fire. Free game right there.
Yeah, most definitely.
And what are you listening to right now? What's something that you got on repeat?
Honestly, I just left from listening to Sunday Service, Kanye West.
Okay.
You know, I listen to that every morning for the last 3-4 years. And God's got a blessing with your name on it. That's really my wake up, my little wake up pod. You know, that's what I listen to. God got a blessing, and then Kanye West Sunday Service coming right in after that.
That's fire. Yeah. I appreciate you participating in Freestyle Friday. So you gave us some free game to start, and then you also gave us a little bit more insight into Mario the person. So definitely appreciate that.
Most definitely.
So I was listening to your story when I was doing research for this interview, and heard about how you were essentially getting it out of the mud. So you had your wristband or a rubber band business that you were, believe 313, and then you were pushing that, and then you fell into the opportunity to be able to work with Shinola in terms of getting contracts to clean. And so if you could share a little bit more about that story, about how you fostered that relationship with Shinola, and then also how did you start to build relationships with these other companies and stadiums that you work with as well?
Shinola was more of, it was God, for real. I was walking downtown with my son one day and was trying to teach him that sports and music isn't the only way you can become a millionaire. There was a guy at the light, a white guy at the light, And I just said, hey, sir, can you tell my son that, there's multiple ways you can become a millionaire? He's like, oh, yeah. He started giving us some information. He's like, yeah, this is my hotel. He's like, you guys should stop through. A white guy telling you to stop through a hotel. You think, no Diddy. You think it's like, what's something going on? He's like, no, I own the hotel. We end up going to the hotel, sat down, and I told him about the rubber bands. At that time, I'm thinking Believe 313 was like the perfect logo for the city of Detroit. So I was thinking maybe Shinola, we can do a watch together and have like Believe on the top, maybe some clocks around the city. So when I set up a meeting with them at the headquarters, they gave me a tour of the headquarters, and we were supposed to set up a meeting. When we went into this meeting room, something similar like this room, there was stuff all on the table, trash was still filled up. And she was just like, oh, I apologize. We have a terrible cleaning company. I'm like, I got a cleaning company. Mm-hmm. Just being, like I said, being very witty, trying to figure it out.
So you actually had a cleaning company at the time?
Never.
Or you? Oh,
no. I mean, I feel like I'm a natural cleaner. My mother, I had chores on. And people don't really remember the chores on the refrigerator. Mm-hmm. Before you go outside, you got to do the kitchen on Monday, the bathroom on Tuesday. And if it's not done when she come home from work, oh, you're going to hear
about it. It's a wrap.
Yeah. It's a wrap. You're going to hear about it. She slamming doors. Get your butt up right now. Get this stuff done. So I've been a professional cleaner since 7, mm-hmm. honestly. So I told her I had a cleaning company. She was like, okay, give us a proposal. I went home and started doing some research, and I didn't believe that people were really paying $10,000, $20,000 a month for cleaning of this size. So I was like, no, I can't be. That's too much. So let me just come up with my own price. I was coming back with a $6,000 proposal. I ended up calling one of my mentors, which is the cheat code for any entrepreneur. Every entrepreneur needs to have a mentor. I ended up giving Horatio Williams a call, and he told me to send for a FOIA, Freedom of Information Act, mm-hmm. to get the first contract from the previous company to see how much they're charging. So when I got to Shinola today to give them the proposal, they gave me the contract from the previous company, and it was like twice the amount that I was going to charge. So I went back, put myself on probation, lowered the amount about $2,000-$3,000, and just started fostering that relationship. But let's say that was like October of 19, November of 19. So they still wasn't really sure if they wanted to make that switch. So when COVID came around, like around January and February, I consider myself being slick, but I would look up anything that would kill COVID, whatever I was finding on the CDC, I would email it to them. Hey, make sure your cleaning company has this product. Make sure they're doing this. Make sure they're doing this, to the point to where they like, why are we have this company and we can just hire him and he understands what's going to help us be safe. Mm-hmm. So we made that relationship. I started like June of 2020. But prior to that, I ended up getting on something called Angie's List. Mm-hmm. And Angie's List, they allow you to market your cleaning company. And I ended up getting a Ford Motor Company cleaning job maybe like 2 months before starting Shinola. It was downriver. And anytime anybody with ears, I would talk to them about how to better they self, how to better the company, about cleaning supplies, just about life, When I get into these buildings, I do try to make friends and get understanding with the management, the human resource, just in case something is missed one night or something happens to the point they won't be looking for a new cleaning company. They can give me a call and say, hey, Mario, the cleaners missed this last night. Don't worry about it. Just, tighten up on this.
That's dope. And what I love about what you were speaking on was that how you were intentional about the relationship. So it wasn't just like okay, you told them you had a cleaning company, you still had to figure it out. You had to build a plane while you was trying to fly through and navigate through that opportunity. But even in the midst of them still trying to figure out what do they want to do, you kept following up and saying like, hey, make sure, even if you work with somebody else, like make sure they're doing this, make sure that you got that, like being super intentional about managing that relationship and not just like, oh, well, they got another cleaning company, on to the next. Like you want to make sure that you stayed in there and stayed in the running.
You got to be persistent in this game. It's a million companies out here trying to get cleaning jobs. what is the niche that you have that separates you from everybody else? You know, and that's in any business. You know, what separates you from the next business next to you that's trying to come up, or what separates you from that $1 billion business? And at that time, well, this company was a franchise. They got cleaning people all over the world, and they just wasn't. It was just more of a job for them. You know, it was a lifestyle for me because I understand that it was people's lives in jeopardy during this time, and they were still coming to work. So I had to really figure out what was the safest way where we can have these people in the building, and that was learning what chemicals clean and how many hours it takes to clean COVID. How many touch hours does it last? Meaning, most of the products that we use, it lasts up to like 116 touch hours. Meaning people can touch the door for that amount of time without it transferring to another person.
Okay. And during this time, how did you build up a team? Like, how did you get a staff together in order to go and do these cleaning jobs?
At first, I went to the projects, you know, and just started this word of mouth, just trying to hire my people. I had, you know, the people from the halfway house came later on with the stadiums, but with Shinola, I just went to the projects. I went to, I never told people, I used to go to LA Fitness, you know, or Lifetime, and try to find their cleaner, because people who clean at these gyms and different things, they're cleaning for a couple hours, but they like to clean, you know, so they'll take 2-3 jobs. So I was just really just trying to be witty. Wherever I can see somebody cleaning, if I go into any building, I see somebody cleaning, I cut right into them. Like, hey, I got a job for you, and how much you making here? I give you $1 more, whatever it was. So I was just really just trying to take advantage of the inches around me.
And how did you navigate in terms of working with those folks? Because the perception or the stereotype is, you know, people lazy. You know, those people in those particular circumstances may be lazy. They don't want to work. They're not going to show up for work. So how do you navigate managing those teams of people and putting those teams of people together?
Leading by example. You know, I make myself very accessible. I'm in there cleaning with you. So if I'm going to pay you and clean harder than you, I don't need you.
Yeah.
You know, so that's the one niche that I have that all the companies like about me, about our company, is I'm in the grind with the employees. You know, at the stadiums, everybody know that I'm always there cleaning with them. Sometimes I do the undercover boss, put the mask on, the hoodie on or something. You know, the ones that know me, they know me, but I'm in the trenches with you. You know, regardless of if we made 2 million to 10 million, I'm still in there some days making it happen. You know what I'm saying? And just showing you that I'm here. I'm always doing the job fair. I'm gonna tell you my story. I'm gonna tell you how I got here, and I'm also tell you that you're no different than me. You know, to let you open up your genius level talent, because we all have a genius level talent. It's just sometimes we need someone to pull it out of us. You know, sometimes we don't understand. We just think that we're here we don't know the reason we're here.
Yeah.
But we all have a reason that God has put us here. It's not to wear these clothes, not to talk. It's you have a purpose on this life.
Absolutely. And how do you manage when people don't necessarily live up to the standards that you set for your company in terms of cleaning, showing up for work, like all those type of things? How do you manage those difficult situations?
I don't really try to get into the managing part. I let the supervisors handle that.
Okay.
If I'm going to, when I hire people, I always tell them I hire you and give you a piece of rope. So you're going to hang yourself. I'm not going to be over your head once I tell you
You're not micromanaging.
No, I'm not micromanaging. I have supervisors that's going to show you the job, help you out. But if you're not doing the job, we got to move on. It's an easy job. I feel like I'm one of the best bosses in the United States. You know, I'm very lenient. If you need something, I'm gonna help you out. If you're hungry, I'm gonna buy the food. You know, I didn't gave pay advances all the time. You know, I had a couple of employees pass away. I didn't pay for funerals. So I mean, I'm very, very accessible. It's just that if you're not gonna do the job, I can't have you around. So I'll allow you to hang yourself.
And also to the point of like building the staff and working with folks and putting people in position to succeed through your business, you were very intentional about going to the projects and the neighborhoods, halfway houses, and hiring those people specifically, including like some re-entering citizens.
Yeah.
So why was that intentionality in the back of your mind in terms of putting these people on or giving them opportunities to come and work with you?
I feel like it's not about who is right, it's about what is right. And if you served your time, you know what I'm saying, I feel like you need a second chance. You know, if you live in a hood housing or low income housing, that don't mean that you're a bad person. That just means that you need some opportunity. God put me here to be an opportunity for the residents of Detroit. You know, I feel like God has blessed me to bless others. So I had to go to back to where I grew up at to show the people who feel like there's no way out, that it really is. You know, and I can show you if you want to get out. Back to the returning citizens. It's like I said, it's just not about who's right, it's about what's right. And once they did their time, a lot of them guys are some of the hardest workers. A lot of those guys get hired in directly to the company, to the professional group or whatever cleaning company that hired us, because they are really hard workers. They just need an opportunity. You know, so I feel like God put me here to give these people that opportunity.
Got you. And speaking of that, so just so I make sure I understand the business structure, so are you, when you have people and you say you leave like the managerial work to those people specifically, do you provide the staffing to organizations, or do the organizations hire the business and you bring the staff, the managers, all that good stuff for the different jobs that you would get?
It depends on whatever the company wants. So I have two businesses. So I have a cleaning company, like for instance for Shinola, we clean the hotel, the headquarters, their storefronts. Then we have the staffing business over here. So you may have a bigger company, cleaning company, that need 50, 60 people.
Gotcha.
So if they need managers, supervisors, we can bring those too. For instance, ServPro. ServPro is going down to Florida to take care of the hurricane, to clean up after the hurricane. They told us they need 50 people with 3 managers. So I'm able to supply the 50 people and also bring the 3 managers in.
Gotcha.
But if they just say, hey, we just need 50 people, we already got the managers, I'll just get you the people.
Dope. Yeah. How are you establishing relationships with these organizations? Because I'm sure when you got the ball rolling and you got a chance to work with Shinola and some of these other institutions, that was your social proof. But how did you kind of get these opportunities with LCA, Little Caesars Arena, with Comerica Park, with Ford Field? How did that happen?
I think really it's more social. CRMs, just networking. But they actually reached out to us. Like I said, during that time there, no one wanted to work. And I'm putting up a lot of stuff on social media. I'm sending out email blasts. I'm putting things on Google. You know, I use Google just as much as I use Facebook or Instagram. You know, I'm loading pictures up on Google. I'm trying to be #1 in staffing. Anytime there's a domain name that comes up that's available, I'm always buying any type of Detroit staffing. So that's another gem, that whatever the business you're in and you ever get an email from a company saying, hey, I'm charging $250 for DetroitPodcast.com. You can negotiate and say, hey, I'm only paying $25 for domain names. I probably own 50 domain names that's got anything to deal with staffing in Detroit, Michigan staffing. You know, I always buy that. So when people look up staffing on on Google, I'm in the top 3. So the company was Googling this staffing companies. At this particular time, no other staffing companies was willing to take on the job because they knew they couldn't get the people. They reached out to us in July 2021 and just asked us, can we get some people to come down there and work the stadiums? Also, Shinola being a affordable luxury company, a lot of corporations in the city of Detroit feel like if you can clean Shinola, I know you can do our job. Right. You know what I'm saying? So they really look up to Shinola. So that was really like the foundation, a big name on a resume. So I use that a lot on Google, on social media. So other companies that's looking for cleaning companies or staffing agencies, once they see Shinola name on it, they jump right on over in our DM or send us an email or whatever.
That's awesome. And love to see the work that you all have been able to do. And then also, people getting opportunities is like probably the biggest thing that I've gathered from the work that you've been doing and the type of people that you go and give opportunities to. I think that's probably the dopest thing, because I know like I've had family that have been trying to figure out like, okay, what's my next move? Like I might be in between careers, jobs, situations, like what's my next move? And then being able to find that grounding and just having like a secure job, like some income coming in, regardless of your situation, like that makes a huge difference. And I know like a part of your story was you getting a home was such a big thing for you to help you pivot because you had your foundation in place. And it's like, okay, now I can really go and make moves because I ain't got to worry about where I'm about to lay my head. Like this is where I'm able to find my footing. And now you're giving people opportunities to do something similar.
Most definitely, bro. That was really like, I think on the last podcast they asked me, they said, man, why you didn't get an apartment when you had got to 10,000? Because I knew that I was gonna still have to pay that rent, and that 10,000 was gonna get ate up. Right. So my whole goal was, like you said, was to get a house, a foundation where I can use the bathroom, take a shower, and lay my head down and get up in the morning and go get some money, go hustle. But the ultimate goal is to help the residents of Detroit. You know, a lot of people always talking about, oh man, you a millionaire, you got millions. No, I've probably given more millions to the residents of Detroit than I have. You know, my whole goal was to pay the rest. I mean, I think we've hired close to 8,000 people from the city. You know, in the last 4 years, 2,000 returning citizens. So that's what I'm proud of. Not the 27 to being a millionaire is fine, but being able to help pay so many car bills, car notes, telephone, helping other people get houses, apartments, Christmas gifts, whatever that may be, is really the ultimate goal for me.
For sure. And I'm wondering, because I've met a few people over the years that have cleaning businesses and seem to be more of a industry. Either maybe I'm meeting more of these people or it's more of a people getting into the industry, but just want to know if you could drop any game on them of things that you may see that they may not necessarily be thinking about or that they might get it wrong because you're doing it at such a high level that you might be able to help them, make that next jump in their business.
The number one thing is minority certification. That's what the corporations is looking for. They're looking for minority. Just because you're Black, Latino, or anything doesn't mean that you're certified as a minority. So you need to go and I think it's MBE, sign up with the minority certification so you can now get these Afro Nation jobs, cleaning up after that, or being a vendor for Belford, or and getting those procurements and different things like that. Also, sign up for become a vendor for everybody. City of Detroit, Bedrock, wherever you can become a vendor from, so you can start getting those procurements. Dan Gilbert owns literally all of the city of Detroit. So these buildings need to be clean at some point in some time. But if you're not a vendor of Bedrock, you're not going to be able to get those procurements. So those are the two things I can say: is sign up for all of these companies, Bedrock, and also at some point try to, if you can split the business up like I did. So Believe 313 Cleaning is union. Believe 313 Staffing is not non-union. So any company or any building that's 100,000 square feet or more, you have to have a union cleaners in there. So that's another niche that you want to eventually, maybe start another business that's a umbrella of whatever your cleaning company is and make that union so you can get these bigger jobs.
That's fire. So is some of this wisdom in that we had the book sitting here, the $27 Millionaire, is a lot of this wisdom in the book as well? And how did we even get to this point where you decided it's actually time to make a book?
All of it's in here, honestly. Okay. All of it's in here. When I was homeless, I ended up coming across a book called 19 Isms by Dan Gilbert. And these are like words that he lives by. Money and number follow, they don't lead. It's about who is right. It's not about who is right. It's about what is right. The inches we need are right around us. We eat our dog food. Figure it out are like words that he lived by. So I said, let me incorporate that into my life. So each chapter shows you one of those isms and how I incorporate it into my life. Like for instance, chapter 1 is basically like, the inches we need are right around us. That's when I figured out when I walked in that room and she said, we have a terrible cleaning company. I said, I got a cleaning company. Yeah. In 2021, when nobody wanted to work, I said, why don't I start a staffing agency? I got people, and now being in these big corporations, I'm seeing that their number one problem is call center. So recently I just started a new business called Believe in AI, where it's a call center AI with emotional intelligence. Okay. Where it answers your question immediately. Shinola is one of my first customers. Before we're done, I love to call the number so the people can hear,
sure. Yeah.
But it's just being witty of what's around you, That's the main thing. Is just staying on your toes, understanding that the opportunity is right in front of you.
Mm-hmm. What was the process for you? Like how from you saying I'm interested in writing a book to it actually being like physically in front of you? What was that process like for you?
I ended up. It's another gentleman who's part of the ecosystem at Earn Your Leisure. His name is Ash Cash.
Mm-hmm.
I think he did an interview with Earn Your Leisure sometime last year about book writing and about having just another source of revenue. A book is gonna always be here. This podcast, they just may turn the radios off, TV, internet off tomorrow, but a book is always be here. So I felt like I had to, get on that side of the gate too. And I reached out to Ash. It probably took maybe about, the first time it was about 3 months. I got in contact with him early 2024. I didn't like it though, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So we went back into the kitchen and cooked up, and I gave him a lot of more of the isms. I ended up sending him the book about isms. I ended up sending him some stuff about genius level talent. So we just incorporated all of that into each chapter. It took maybe about, the second time it took about 4 months. Mm-hmm. And I'm very, very proud of it. And it's not really just about my life. It's about any entrepreneur that's out here that's trying to scale, that's trying to grow, and the different things that I did that you can incorporate into your life. Each chapter has, a note section where I'm giving you a test and telling you to write down 10 things that you see that you can change around you right now. Mm-hmm. Most cleaning companies are in competition, but they don't understand that if you live in an apartment building, you have a cleaning company, you should be cleaning everybody's house in that apartment. Mm. You should put flyers in everybody's apartment in that building, on their doorstep, and let them know that they have the #1 cleaning company in the state in your building, your own building. So it's just about take advantage of, like I said again, take advantage of the inches around you.
Absolutely. And speaking of that, so I had mentioned to you that I got a chance to get introduced to your work through Earn Your Leisure. Mm-hmm. What has it been like for you getting that opportunity to be a part of that ecosystem now with Troy and Rashard, and then also, like you mentioned, Ash Cash, and then some of those other folks? And I know that you've been doing other things for them, some teaching, some classes, things like that. What has that been like, and how has that kind of benefited or taught you new things in terms of where you want to go with business?
Oh, man, that's a blessing from God, man. Them guys are really like, they're a blessing for us. Mm-hmm. I always tell people to do the research, do the data on African American people in stock 4 years ago, and like for the last 50 years up to 2019, mm-hmm. when they started talking about stock. Right. I can guarantee you, within the last 5 to 6 years, there's been more Black people involved in stock than the last 50 years. Mm-hmm. They're very down to earth, any way they can help me, they always set me up with the cleaning job with Jalen Rose. I told Troy, I said, man, I want to clean Jalen Rose. He got right on the phone, set that up, Mm-hmm. I told Troy, man, I said, I want to get with Ash to put the book together. Walked me right over there at Invest Fest last year, made that connection. They're really a blessing from God for us, for the culture, mm-hmm. And sometimes I say culture meaning, some people think Black, but I mean just people in our age range. Right. You know what I'm saying? Not Black, white, purple, anybody with a beating heart. Mm-hmm. I feel like they're a blessing for. They're giving Jews free every Monday on Market Monday. Mm-hmm. I've never known about stocks. I mean, honestly, growing up, seeing the paper and seeing those waves, it confuses me until... Right. Listening to them on Monday, and they saying, listen, invest in this, mm-hmm. invest in that, invest in this. Take $20, take $50 and invest in this. Mm-hmm. It's really a blessing for us, but it's all love, man. Like Rashard invited me and my fiance to his birthday party. Mm-hmm. I think that was the best party I've been to in 10 years. Mm-hmm. The Who's Who was there, Jada Kiss, Ghostface Killer, everybody was there. Mm-hmm. All the influencers from around the country was there. Anytime I see them, it's just all love. Mm-hmm. Anybody from that ecosystem. If it's MG the mortgage guy, if it's him 500, you know. But one thing I can say is Detroit is like, we're on the map. You know, when I was just down at Invest Fest at a party, everybody is trying to get to the city. You know, him 500, they, you know, Alex the trucking guy. Everybody's trying to figure out how can they diversify their portfolio to get here. So we got to step up, Detroit.
Yeah. And I know Earn Your Leisure, they've been intentional about coming to Detroit. They've been here several times for some of their pop-ups. And then also they did a event with Ally a couple summers ago that I had a chance to go to and actually meet Rashard at least, which is super dope. And I love their intentionality of coming to the city and wanting to be around the city. And in terms of like what they've done for my life was, like I said, they inspired this platform, the podcast that we're talking on right now. And it also helped me and one of my other friends who introduced me to them utilize stocks in order to purchase our first homes, which is like super dope. And like you said, Black people and investing, it seemed like something that was so far-fetched and so out there. But the way that they broke it down was like, at least from what I remember and what I still use to this day, is just invest in what you use. So for example, you go to Target every day or every few days, buy you some Target stock, buy you some Apple stock, Nike. Like I love Nike. Like I put together a portfolio of like 10 businesses that I use all the time, including Starbucks, things like that. So just being able to simplify it and then bring it down to our level. And then also, you know, Trap, Wall Street Trapper, he's been huge in that space as well, and really just trying to help us diversify our thinking and things that we do, even outside of stock. Like they have EYL University where they're teaching people to do so many different things, and then exposing us to different people like yourself through the Earn Your Leisure podcast and that platforms. And then like now I see that they're doing like live lessons, or like somebody comes on each week for like an hour and a half, and just kind of basically give you a mini masterclass, which is super dope. Yeah,
man, them guys are something different, man. Like I said, those guys were a blessing to us as a culture. Like you say, they break down every aspect of business. If it's Miss Business is teaching tax, Wall Street Trapper is really breaking down stocks to a way where, you know, Detroiters can understand it, because we want to be hustlers. So he's gonna say, hey, you know, he got a triple beam. He got some baking soda on his podcast. You got Ash Cash is breaking down the books and showing you how you can use AI to put together your books. You got, I mean, it depends on whatever business that you're trying to do. They have somebody already that's a leader in that field, and that's showing you how to go about it. You know, I wouldn't say they're nothing like gatekeepers. Right. They're putting all the information out there now. It's just for you to suck it up and bring it in and put it into your life, you know, and then put me on the platform. You know, it widened my arms. That's basically how I got in Houston. You know, they contacted us, and the person who seen me on their show was like, listen, we have the rodeo coming up. We got Taylor Swift coming up. How can you come down here and help us? Went right down there and helped them guys and created a great relationship. So now we're cleaning at NRG. So, you know, I love them guys, honestly. That's my brother. That's family, you know. It's bigger. It has grown past just a podcast, you know. We talking on the phone all the time. I actually was just talking to Rashard about the Believe in AI, because no one has call center AI with emotional intelligence. Most call center AIs is just like push one for John, push two for Smith, you know. So
that's as far as it goes.
That's as far as it goes. Where Emily, which is the bot's name, can really schedule appointments, can take your order and mail it out to you, you know. So that's why Shaynola is our first customer. It's going to actually help businesses grow, because now the call center or customer service can focus on sales. Right.
So by the time you get to me, we talking about money. We ain't got to go through the whole formalities and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, but if you can imagine the IRS, how many calls they have between December and April. Yeah. And if you're not calling the IRS between 6:58 and 7:10, you're not getting in. So now my ultimate goal is to get to the government side where you can talk to Emily and she can see what those level 1, 2, and 3 problems are. And then she can schedule you for whoever can handle anything from 4 on up, you know. Or for instance, Dan Gilbert, his logo is you can get a mortgage from your bed. Right. So if you can call in and Emily answers the phone and she can weed out the people who have a 500 credit score.
Yeah.
You know, who need to work on this and work on that. But the people who are already ready to get a mortgage, now she can schedule you for these other levels and put you in the form of, like you say, weed out all the people and get straight to the money. Yeah.
And is there any way we can do a demo?
Yeah, most
We
definitely.
do a live demo and see what Emily got going on?
Yes, sir. So this one right here is the one that we did for Shinola.
Hi there. I'm Emily, a sales assistant with Shinola. How can I help you today? Are you familiar with our brand and products?
Yes, I'm very familiar with your brand and products. Emily, I'm looking for a blue Shinola sweater. Do you guys have anything like that?
Yes, we do have sweaters, including some in blue. Let me check our current selection for you. Are you looking for a specific size or style?
Actually, I'm going to a wedding in California. I'm wearing brown. Do you have any suggestions for a watch that I should wear? And do you have any stores on the West Coast?
For a wedding with a brown outfit, I'd recommend a watch with a classic leather strap, like our Runwell with a brown leather band. It complements brown tones beautifully. As for stores, while we don't have a physical location on the West Coast, you can shop online or visit our outlet locations at Great Lakes Crossing in downtown Grand Rapids. Would you like more details on the watch?
Yes, I would like to order the watch. Can I order and you can mail it to me?
Absolutely. You can order the watch online, and we offer complimentary shipping on orders over $125. Would you like help with the ordering process?
That's crazy. That's crazy. Sound like you was talking to a real person.
Yeah. So that's the whole goal, is to just to help the call center world, you know. I mean, I look at my customer being OnStar, UPS, you know, any big company that's using tow truck companies that's using call centers. And then, you know, she's going to be 100% efficient. You know, you're not going to have to train anybody for months.
Yeah.
You're not going to have to call and be speaking to somebody in Jamaica or Pakistan or wherever. Now you get almost something like a real person.
Is Emily going to have any siblings or co-workers? Like, is it going to be like a Ron that can do what Emily do? Or
So, yes, we have 4 different people. So we have a 40-year-old white man, a 40-year-old black man, 20-year-old. Emily's supposed to be like in her 20s. And then we have a 40-year-old young lady also, which is, I just named her Emily. I haven't named everybody else.
Got you.
But she can take up to 18 calls at once.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So I got to ask you, I mean, that's huge in terms of like what's next for you, what's next for the businesses, what do you kind of see on the horizon? We got a glimpse into some of it, but anything that you can share with us that you got going on?
Really, it's this AI world now. You know, I see that with Black Tech Saturdays, you know, opening my eyes up to the AI side. I'm going to incorporate AI into my cleaning. You know, Emily, I have an Emily for, I believe, 313 staffing. So when you call and try to get a job, she goes through what jobs we have, you know, where you can put your resume on, and then she, you know, makes an appointment for whatever recruiter that person fits best. And then also just continue to grow the staffing. You know, my ultimate goal is to be in 70 cities, 40 states. You know, we're in Seattle, we're in Boston, we're in Houston, you know, and then just creating I call it a ghetto franchise. You know, just creating franchises around these different cities and states with other cleaning companies that's looking to get into the stadiums, but don't understand and don't have the resume. So that's the real advantage that I have, is we have the resume. So if I want to go to Jacksonville, Florida, I can just find a cleaning company down there that can be the manager of the whole situation. And then I just use my resume from Detroit and let them know that what we've done in Detroit, Houston, Seattle, and Boston, and we just go ahead and open the doors up down there in these different cities.
That's the similar model to what BMF did, pretty much, right?
Most definitely. Just on the legal side.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, exactly. So if I want to get on and I'm trying to understand how I can get some opportunities with staffing and getting some possible jobs, or if I just want to follow Mario, I want to get a book, how do I get in contact with you? What's your website, socials, all that good stuff?
The website is believe313staffing.com. If you're looking for a book, you can go to Amazon, type in the $27 millionaire, leave a review. You can order a book. November 1st, we're putting the books on sale for $3.13. So between November 1st and December 1st, all the books will be $3.13. My social media is Believe 313 Staffing. That's on Facebook. That's on Instagram. That's across all socials. And if you're just really trying to learn, I don't have any courses. I don't have any classes. I'm really just, I feel like that's my, these are my deeds, my tithes. I'm sorry. This is like my tithes. It's really to give the information out. I'm not no gatekeeper. So if you're looking to try to help grow your business, contact me. All my information is on my social media, is on my website. You can contact me. I answer the phone. This is the phone. This is the number that's on there. I'm not trying to charge nobody $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 to learn how to clean a toilet. I feel like, hey, I can get this information out because it may benefit both of us. We may become partners. Or at the end of the day, you may just be able to grow your business a little bit. I'm more happy with that.
That's dope. Yeah. And we really appreciate the work that you're doing out here and the opportunities that you're providing, the information that you're providing. It's all super helpful. And then I'm sure that within the book, it's even more knowledge and more detail to how it's all comes together. So appreciate you for joining the podcast today. And anything we can do to help and support the brand, the business, please let us know.
Most definitely.
And everybody watching and listening, make sure that you check out previous episodes and we'll tap in with y'all soon. Peace.